Signorelli is a pastor that I follow, and he's the one who led my mom and I through the process of breaking generational curses, and she introduced me to him. This occurred about 4 years ago, is when we started the journey of breaking generational curses. But there's something that he stated for Mother's Day, and he was speaking about his mother, and he said to her, "Thank you for being our Moses to our Egypt." And I was like, I had to read it again, because, we only relate to Moses in the Bible, who Moses is the one who delivered the Egyptians or the Israelites out of Egypt, from bondage, from slavery. And during this time, many of you are represented as those with the staff of authority, and are the Moses of your family, and delivering your family out of their Egypt. But how can you deliver your family out of Egypt if you're still in Egypt yourself? And my mom and I were talking about that the other day. That it really seems that we're at the point where we see the Egyptians coming back to haunt and to sabotage the release of the Egyptians, right? And they're right up on the that huge hill, that huge mountain cliff area, and all the Israelites were near the river, and they started getting scared. They're really close, and they started seeing like all of their options were dwindling, and they were getting stuck, and they were going to get entrapped by the enemy again, right when they're trying to escape. And so if you recall the story of Moses, you can watch it on Netflix, because they have a series on there. If you want to watch a recent version of it, he calls upon God, and then he starts saying, "What should I do?" And then he said, "Get your staff and place it into the water." And right now, many of you are going to be getting that parting of the Red Sea moment. And it's going to seem scary. And it's going to seem like all of it is piling up all at once. And you're having to confront the enemy. And it's kind of scary. And you kind of feel like maybe you don't want to. You just want to run away and go back, or go. Maybe you don't want to be the leader that leads everybody out, because it's a lot of responsibility and you don't know if you can make it. But with God, when I asked him what I should do when I was feeling that way, he said, proclaim victory over your enemies. And he was giving me prophetic word of a authority of a staff. Okay, and then so I was explaining that to my mom, stating that I feel like this is the point, this is the breaking point on many different issues. Okay, I'm having to confront with backup. See, when you're going to get delivered, God sends someone to help process the deliverance. Okay, that's how it occurs. And he has already sent one for me in my scenario and one for us in our family scenario. So different individuals, and he's using those individuals who are pretty much working for free, okay, and they're acting like pretty much as attorneys. So I basically have like 2 cases that I'm dealing with, and they're working pretty much for free, okay, and they are professionals, and they have been trained to win cases. So what I'm saying is, God's going to send you a trained professional. You know what Moses means? You know what the Hebrew word for Moses? It's Moshe. And you know what Moshe means? It means to be drawn out of the water. To draw out of the water. So it's basically, you're being drawn out of your deep waters in this time. And you could state all you want, well, why is this happening to me? Why? I'd rather just not have any problems. And don't we all? Just rather not have these tremendous, tumultuous problems. But the thing is, this is it. This last epiphany here is what breaks through. And you have to be brave enough to hold the staff and to put it in the water and to cross over, because there's many others that are following. And I was crying at one point, explaining to my mom that I explained to her, I was like, I bet Moses was a little bit nervous going through, and he's having to pump up all of the Israelites and their families and say, trust me, we need to go this way. This is the only way, we can't go back. And some of you have to put the face and defend your family, or defend yourself even. And God already gave you the victory. So all you have to do is don't look back, and declare and decree victory over your enemies. Declare it out loud. Exactly what the enemy's trying to steal and kill and destroy, proclaim the opposite in your situation. And while we were praying, because she got out of the car, she was in the car, and I was standing outside of the car, and I was explaining to her these really tumultuous problems, huge. And I get it. People that get prophetic word get a little bit more tumultuous problems than other people. I understand that. But it's almost like if it's the same problems, and we're having to relive the whole thing all over again. And this time he's having me do it without falling into PTSD mode and being incredibly afraid. This time I'm not too afraid. This time around I have the keys. I have the special keys that open those specific doors. I've been giving authority in the name of Yahusha to break these chains. This time around, the battle is won, but now we're living those steps. We're living the moment of crossing the sea, right before crossing the sea. That's the moment where we're living in. And so while I was praying with her, she was praying for me, and I really needed prayer at that time. I pray for a lot of people. And I think I may portray that I'm very strong, and I am overall, but I think when you are around other people who are very strong, also remember that they need a prayer here and there once in a while. That you cover them and you protect them. Anyways, we were praying together, and then I heard the Holy Spirit say, sickle Sinai, sickle Sinai, over and over. And when I researched what that meant, sickle is talking about being, it's saying harvest the faith and the declarations and decrees that you stated over your life in the past. Now is the time to harvest that with the sickle. The sickle is a certain crescent-like hook. I mean, it's like a tool to hack away at the harvest when it's ripe. And it was declaring something in a verse in Deuteronomy that now is the time to harvest your faith, your declarations and decrees that you stated over your life and over your family. Now is the time to collect that harvest and to use it in this moment. And that really hit home for me too. That when it really matters the most to have the faith, do not run away and revert back to how you used to solve problems. Use it, all of the tools that you have in your little belt in this moment. Then the next word was Sinai, right? And so it's connected with the word, the mountain, Mount Sinai. And it's basically talking about a divine revelation. That's what that mountain means. It also means, that's the mountain that Moses would go up. I think he went up about 7 times in his lifetime to speak to Yahuwah, and Yahuwah would shake the mountains and a thunderous lightning storm, and in that moment, that's when he received divine revelation in those moments with the 10 Commandments and with other revelations. And so if you recall, if you watch the movie Moses, you know, when the Israelites, were scared, they didn't know what to do because they felt like they were stuck from both sides. There was a river, you know, that hadn't been parted yet, and they didn't know yet that it could be parted. And then on the other side, on the hill, big hill, they saw the big humongous army of the Egyptians ready to attack. But what did Yahuwah do at that moment? To block the Egyptians' vision, he used his pillar of cloud, and he created a bunch of dust so that way they could not see the Israelites the entire time. Now the Israelites could see just fine because the wind was in the dust of the sand was just piling up and affecting only the enemies, right? And so they're not looking at what's being planned and when escape would happen. And there's these miraculous moments. I guess that's what, in this specific prophetic word given on 5/13/2024, that he is making some moves in this time, and Yahuwah is not leaving you stranded all alone to fight these battles, because it's not just battles in the physical, it's spiritual, supernatural battles. And the next word was Yah, and Yah is Yahuwah's name. And why would he bring up his name in this hour? Because he's saying that you're not going to be able to solve these problems and triumphant over these problems by yourself. He wants us to recall that he allowed these situations to occur, and he is going to bring us out of the tumultuous problems. And he is going to be the one that's going to bring us the victory, and he is going to be the one that's going to get all the credit. And I mean, if I went specifically detail by detail of what is going on, you'll be like, wow, how are you even alive at this time with that much heartache or that much nonstop spirit of Pharaoh attacks? Okay? Because it is spirit of Pharaoh in my workplace. It is spirit of Pharaoh of the other situation attacking our family. And that's why we know it's going to be a Red Sea moment. And so the last part of this is picking up your staff and using the authority. Can you do that? Can you do that for your family? Can you proclaim? Can you be prophetic and proclaim it over your lives? What if that's all it took? I remember in the other video I was stating, what if all it was a travail? Proclaiming it. Reminding God, remember you said you were going to deliver us from our enemies. Remember you said that you were going to bring us the victory and you were going to stop Pharaoh once and for all. Okay, so what if that's all it took, is saying, I believe that you're going to do this. I believe that we're going to come out victorious. I believe that you're going to keep our family intact. I believe that you're going to bring our family together. I believe it. Pay attention where the enemy is attacking you. And that's exactly where the greatest blessings are. That's where the enemy sees that God, that you're anointed in that area. If it's attacking your family, that's because your family is super anointed for a special cause for Yahuwah Almighty. If it's in your business, if you're getting attacked in your business, or if you're getting attacked in your finances or your job or whatever, etc., your health, pay attention, because that's exactly the testimony, where the testimony is going to come out of. So still proclaim victory over your enemies. Pick up the staff. If you are the Moses from your family, pick up the staff and be ready at any moment. Be in the secret place and make sure you are getting your highlighted tips from Yahuwah. He's going to be giving you insight on when to make the moves. God bless you.